Hello there, my dear wanderer. Welcome to my humble campfire. I am Ophelia, your guide through the unknown. Tonight I'll read for you 2 real stories of dating that didn't go exactly as the ones involved had planned. But beware, once you step into this world, there's no turning back. If you enjoy our midnight stories, don't forget to like and subscribe to join our coven of curious wanderers. Now, let us begin. I was 18 when I started dating Sarah, a girl my age who had an intriguing gothic style and a love for all things macabre. One of her more unusual interests was exploring abandoned places. She'd always dreamed of delving into the mysteries of forsaken buildings, but was too scared to go alone. Seeing a chance to impress her, I suggested we explore an abandoned cinema on the outskirts of the city's commercial area. Sarah's eyes lit up with excitement, and she eagerly agreed. We chose a quiet Sunday afternoon for our adventure, hoping the empty streets would keep us from drawing too much attention. The abandoned cinema was a relic from the 1980s, a grand structure that had once been the pride of the city, but had fallen into disrepair after being closed for decades. The stories of its haunting and mysterious past only added to its allure. To avoid being seen, we took a less traveled route, winding through alleyways and back streets. Just as we were about to turn onto the deserted street leading to the back of the cinema, a disheveled beggar appeared from the shadows, his smell hitting us before his presence registered. He approached us, asking for some money. I gave him a few bucks, and he muttered a thank you before shuffling away. We watched him go, a little uneasy, before continuing down the empty street. The cinema was surrounded by a tall, crumbling wall. We found a sturdy tree near the wall that looked like it would serve as a perfect ladder. Climbing up, we managed to get over the wall and drop down into the overgrown courtyard on the other side. The place was eerily silent, save for the occasional rustle of leaves in the wind. Vines and weeds had taken over, giving the area an almost otherworldly feel. Sarah and I moved towards the back entrance of the cinema. The heavy wooden door creaked loudly as we pushed it open, revealing a dark, musty hallway. We used the flashlights on our phones to navigate through the darkness. The air inside was stale and thick with dust, making us cough as we breathed it in. As we explored, we marveled at the decaying grandeur of the place. The main hall was vast, with rows upon rows of rotting seats facing a tattered screen. We made our way up to the projection room, the most intact part of the building. The old projector was still there, covered in a thick layer of dust, like a ghost of the past. In the dim light of the projection room, Sarah and I started to kiss, the thrill of our adventure heightening our senses. It felt like we were the only 2 people in the world, wrapped up in our little bubble of excitement and romance. But then, a loud noise shattered our moment. It was the sound of something clattering to the ground. We turned quickly, my heart jumping on my chest, and there he was. The beggar from earlier, standing in the doorway. His presence was unsettling. He wasn't doing anything overtly threatening, just standing there, watching us with an intensity that made my skin crawl. Sarah clutched my arm, her eyes wide with fear. "What do we do?" she whispered, her voice trembling. I took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. "Stay behind me," I said, stepping forward to place myself between her and the beggar. "Hey, what do you want?" I called out, my voice steadier than I felt. The beggar's eyes flickered with a strange light as he responded. "I just want to watch you having fun," he said, his voice rough and unsteady. The situation was quickly becoming more dangerous than exciting. I knew we had to get out of there. Gathering my courage, I stepped towards the beggar. "Move!" I shouted, putting all my strength into my voice. To my surprise, he took a step back, almost as if he was startled. Seizing the opportunity, I moved forward, pushing him out of the way. He stumbled but didn't fall, holding himself against the wall. His eyes never left us. "Come on, Sarah," I urged, grabbing her hand and pulling her towards the door. We ran down the hallway with our footsteps echoing in the abandoned cinema. I think the beggar didn't follow, but I didn't dare look back to check. We reached the back entrance and burst outside, gulping in the fresh air like it was the most precious thing in the world. Instead of climbing back over the wall the way we came in, we found an easier and quicker exit, the metal gate at the front of the building. It was old and rusted, but looked climbable. I helped Sarah over first, pushing her up and over before following myself. My hands slipped a few times on the rusted metal, but the adrenaline pumping through me kept me going. We landed on the other side, breathless and shaken. This street was a bit busier, and a few people glanced our way as we bolted out from the abandoned cinema. We didn't stop running until we reached a bus stop a few blocks away. The first bus that arrived, we got on without even checking where it was headed. Sitting next to Sarah on the bus, I finally allowed myself to relax a little. We were safe. She was still holding my hand, her grip tight. I could see the fear in her eyes, and she started crying, burying her face in my shoulder. She cried quietly, holding on to me as if letting go would bring back the terror we had just escaped. As the bus rumbled along, taking us away from the abandoned cinema and the unsettling encounter with the beggar, I realized how much this experience had affected her. Despite the fear and the danger, there was something undeniably thrilling about the experience. And although I was very scared too, I'm proud of the way I acted in that situation. I only thought about protecting her. I didn't know I had it in me, to be honest. We got off the bus near my house and walked the rest of the way home, hand in hand. This is both a scary and a love story, since the events of that day made us bond very strongly. And here we are, still together 5 years after this occurrence. When I first met Alex, he was just another face in the crowd, another potential suitor. We met at a quaint cafe downtown, the kind of place where time seems to slow down, and you can lose yourself in the aroma of freshly brewed coffee. He was charming, with a boyish smile that could melt even the coldest of hearts. It didn't take long before I saw something deeper in him, a vulnerability that I knew I could connect to. Our dates were frequent and filled with laughter. We explored the city together, shared secrets, and became inseparable. Yet, as the days turned into weeks, I began to sense his hesitation. Alex was pulling away, retreating into himself. I couldn't let that happen. I had grown too attached to his presence, so I decided to do something about it. I am a part of an ancestral religion in which I've learned some rituals made by prayers. For him, I performed the love bonding one. In my dimly lit apartment, I arranged a pair of candles on the floor, their flickering flames casting eerie shadows on the walls. I whispered incantations, invoking the spirits of love protection. With each word, I felt the air grow heavier, charged with a spiritual energy. I placed a lock of Alex's hair, which I had secretly taken, in between the candles and recited the final prayer. As the ritual concluded, a sense of calm washed over me. I suspected it had worked when Alex called me the next morning.
Hello.
And his voice was filled with a newfound affection. He was more devoted than ever, hanging on my every word, his eyes reflecting an unwavering adoration. But with his love came a change that I had not anticipated. Alex's once gentle demeanor turned obsessive. He was showing paranoid and possessive behaviors when it came to me, like his thoughts were consumed by it. At first, I reveled in the attention, but it quickly became suffocating. I was getting burst with his aggressive way, so I decided to make up a situation for him to feel that if he kept this abusive treatment going on, he could lose me for good. One night we went out to a pub to have some drinks. I waited for him to go to the bathroom and then got closer to another man. I wasn't interested in the guy, but I made it seem like it, so he would take me back and then hopefully repair his weird, out-of-place aggressiveness. But when he got back to the salon and saw me chatting with somebody else, he got possessed by an irrational anger and went up to the man without any signal of hesitation or good sense. He started a fight and beat him up over and over until someone finally got them apart. In that moment, I realized clearly that his devotion had turned into madness, and the person I had once loved became a stranger I would be afraid of. I tried to break the bond, to undo the ritual, but couldn't change the damage that was already done. Alex's mind was shattered, and his presence became a haunting reminder of my dark deeds. Desperation led me to the only solution I could think of. I had to get him away from me. I fabricated stories of his erratic behavior, his violent outbursts. It wasn't difficult to convince the authorities that he needed help. The night they came to take him away, Alex's eyes met mine, filled with a mix of confusion and betrayal. He didn't resist, didn't fight back. He simply whispered, "Why?" as they led him away. Now he resides in a mental institution, locked away from the world, his mind lost to the shadows. I visit him sometimes, standing outside the tall iron gates, watching as he stares blankly into the distance. A part of me feels guilty, but another part is relieved. I am free from his suffocating love, free from the monster I created. But freedom comes with a price. At night, I can't escape the haunting whispers, the flickering shadows cast by candlelight, and the memory of Alex's last desperate gaze. I am trapped in my own prison, haunted by the consequences of my selfish desires. And I know, deep down, that I will never truly be free.